Now, let me ask you again. What if these recurring love stories are actually playing out in the shadow of your family portrait? One of Freud's most striking theories whispers this truth. The person you fall in love with might not be who you think. They might be a reflection of the affection you lacked, the neglect you endured, or the overwhelming attachment you once knew. At first, it may sound too radical, but let's go deeper. Because according to Freud, the human soul is like an iceberg, and love, it grows in the part that no one can see. When you fall in love with someone, you don't just love them with who you are today. Your subconscious speaks through the wounds, the longings, the unfinished stories of your past. Sometimes this person reminds you of a warmth you never received as a child. Other times, they make you relive the coldness of a parent who hurt you. Because the subconscious clings to what it knows. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. This is where Freud's concept of repetition compulsion comes in. Your subconscious reenacts unhealed traumas again and again. Like a play, you're still in the same role, even if your co-star keeps changing. Have you ever wondered, why are you so drawn to people who don't love you back, who are distant, difficult, or emotionally unavailable? Why do you instinctively pull away from someone who actually values you? Because your subconscious is dragging you back to a version of love it learned when you were a child. Maybe your mother was cold, emotionally distant, or overly controlling. Maybe your father was physically present but emotionally absent. Or perhaps he was angry and never truly heard you. And now, the people you let into your life feel like echoes of that same old energy. That's why, sometimes, when you attach to someone, you're not truly bonding with the person. You're bonding with the feeling they bring up inside you. According to Freud, love isn't just a journey from heart to heart. It's a map of desire and lack, buried deep within your soul, and the compass guiding that map. The emotions left unresolved in childhood. So maybe the person you fall for feels like the tenderness your mother never gave you, or the presence you craved from your father's absence. But the truth is, that person might just be a mirror. Freud once said, "Love is a pact your unconscious makes with your past." When we choose someone, we don't just choose them. We invite everything they represent into our lives. And what they represent often takes root in our earliest experiences. But we rarely realize it, because those roots have long since been buried, hidden, but still powerful. And this is where the Oedipus complex enters the stage. Freud believed that every child, during a certain phase of development, forms a subconscious attachment to the parent of the opposite sex. Not a direct desire, but a longing to belong, to feel complete. Alongside that desire, there's also a silent rivalry with the other parent. Here's the twist. These feelings don't disappear when repressed. They just change form. And years later, they reappear as the person you fall in love with. Maybe right now you're thinking, that doesn't apply to me. But ask yourself, why do you feel such intense attraction to certain people? Why do you stay in relationships, not for who the person is, but for how they make you feel? This is what Freud was really trying to show us. What we call love might actually be our subconscious trying to fix a broken piece of the past, trying to earn the affection we were denied. But not all healing paths are healthy. One of Freud's patients spent her life falling in love with emotionally distant men. She found warm, loving partners. Boring. To her, love meant waiting. It meant lying awake wondering if he'd text back. It meant constant lack. Freud's analysis was clear. As a child, she always had to fight for her father's attention. And now, she kept reliving that same struggle with every man she thought she loved. Her love she experienced was actually a battle for validation, just like it was in childhood. This is how the subconscious chooses our partners. Even if you believe you're mature and selective today, most of your choices are shaped by repressed desires and unresolved emotions. Because people repeat themselves, and the soul keeps scratching the same wound until it heals. Until one day, you ask yourself, do I truly love this person? Or do I love the familiar pain they represent? According to Freud, the most dangerous kind of love is this: searching for a parent figure in your romantic partner. This doesn't just lead to heartbreak. It forces you to relive every emotional conflict you had as a child. Because love, at some point, stops being just a feeling. It becomes a reenactment, and most people, without realizing it, try to get from their partner the love they never received as a child. But that's not possible, because your partner is not your mother, not your father, and it's not their job to heal what was broken long before they came into your life. True freedom begins when you stop seeing love as something that completes you, and you dare to ask the question, why did I choose this person? Did I truly love them? Or was I just trying to see myself through their eyes? Freud said, the feelings you repress will continue to control you for the rest of your life. Avoiding them doesn't erase them. It only traps them deeper in the dark corridors of your subconscious. And from there, they will surprise you in a new love, in the pain of a breakup, or in the echo of abandonment. But here's the good news. This cycle isn't destiny, and you have the power to break it. The first step is to look in the mirror with honesty. Ask yourself, do I really love this person? Or am I chasing the love I never received as a child? This is a brave question, because it brings you face to face with your past. And often, that confrontation comes with tears. But those tears are the first drops of healing. One of Freud's most important suggestions was this: bring the repressed to the surface. Make your hidden pain, fears, and desires visible, because only what is seen can be transformed. So start observing yourself. When you feel drawn to someone, don't just focus on their external qualities. Pay attention to the emotion they trigger in you. What feels familiar? Does their silence remind you of your mother's silence? Does their distance reflect your father's absence? And then ask yourself, do I have to keep repeating this pattern? The answer is no. You are not a prisoner of your past. Another powerful step is to recognize your inner child. As Freud often emphasized, there is still a little child inside each of us, a child who longs to be seen, to be loved, to be accepted. And now, as your adult self, you can finally say to that child, I won't beg others to love you anymore. I am here. I see you. I love you, just as you are. Those words slowly lead you out of old patterns, because now, you're no longer trying to rebuild love from the past. You're starting to build it in the present. Freud's theories may seem dark, but within them is a quiet hope, because they remind us, no matter how powerful the unconscious is, conscious awareness can transform it. So from now on, stop seeing love as a way to feel complete. Start seeing it as something you share, not something you lack. Your partner is not your missing piece. They are a companion, someone who walks beside you, but never defines you. And in that realization, love stops being a battle and finally becomes peace.